You can shove your climate crisis up your arse. You can shove your climate crisis up your arse. You can shove your climate crisis. You can shove your climate crisis. You can shove your climate crisis up your arse.
Finally, I agree with Greta Thunberg on something, but then again, there's old Joe. Oh, well, forget old Sleepy Joe. Don't worry, the British Prime Minister will help us make sense of things here. Oh well, what can I say? Her reaction to the latest UN climate conference is about what the rest of us all think about it as well. In this video, we're going to see the embarrassment that Biden has been at the conference. We're going to see how many in the media are reacting to it all. And stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal what really should be done about the environment. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, before we begin, as many of you know, I recently retired from academia to go full-time here at Turley Talks, fighting for freedom and bringing the good news of patriotic conservatism to people all over the world. But I do need your support. I need your help to keep this business going in the midst of constant threats from cancel culture. So my team and I created an amazing merch store with the best designs in the world. We got our latest Let's Go Brandon t-shirts that you're going to love. We got some of the best Patriot gear where you can pick out something that spreads hope and supports my channel here at the very same time. So make sure to click on that link below and get your own Patriot merch today. These designs are punchy and fun, but they are not going to stick around for long. So click on that link in the description below right now to both support me and spread Patriot hope. And I cannot thank you enough for it. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. As I'm sure you all know, the latest UN climate change conference is underway in Glasgow, the so-called COP26, or Conference of the Parties. President Biden was there. Well, at least physically he was there. And when he was awake, the world was treated to wisdom like this.
Finally, as you keep hearing me say, and I apologize, building out our climate infrastructure can and should help drive a sustainable economic recovery. From the first meeting we had, I apologize for the repetition, but I look at climate and dealing with climate change, and I see jobs, good jobs, economic development and movement. That's what I see. And finally, you keep hearing me say it, but building out the climate and infrastructure should drive sustainable economic recovery.
I mean, the guy literally apologized for repeating himself. He then got confused, he lost his place, and then read the same portion of the speech where he apologized for repeating himself. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. Even the international media, like Sky News Australia, is coming out and saying things like Joe Biden needs a nursing home and a bowl of soup. I mean, his cognitive decline has become so obvious, it's frankly painful to watch. Elon Musk wasted little time in mocking the proceedings, saying he would personally donate $6 billion to end world hunger if the UN were actually transparent about how they would spend his money. But I don't think anyone was prepared for just how embarrassing it would be in the midst of all the climate alarmism and apocalyptic hysteria. The leaders from both the US and Great Britain would be seen there falling asleep. So much for the reality of the alarmism. I guess there's not that much to worry about, is there? Here's how it all played out on Fox News.
This is a challenge of our collective lifetimes, the existential threat to human existence as we know it. And every day we delay, the cost of inaction increases. So let this be the moment that we answer history's call.
President Biden overseas trying to impress the world on climate change, but he's not impressing anybody here at home. The president attempting to save the planet by riding around Rome in an 85-vehicle-strong, gas-guzzling motorcade before this big summit, and by sending a third of his cabinet and an army of staffers to the global warming conference in Scotland. While claiming the situation on planet Earth is so dire, President Biden reacting by appearing to take a nap during a climate speech. Meanwhile, back here in America, the president's crises are piling up as his approval rating tanks, down to just 42%, with a whopping 54% disapproving. And 71% of Americans say they think the country's headed in the wrong direction.
So Obviously, Biden's LARPing at the United Nations summit is not impressing a whole lot of people back here at home. His poll numbers are plummeting. His popularity is in a free fall. And no one at Fox points that out better than the one and only Greg Gutfeld.
Do you understand why the president might be a little lethargic?
Yes, climate change is boring as a topic. That's why we don't do it very often, and often the statistics aren't true. The computer models are way off, and it becomes a waste of time. But this is like a funhouse mirror of the previous president.
Yeah.
Like, you had nonstop energy that was actually really, really exhausting. Like, Trump was 24/7, and Biden is 0.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, you always know how the far left is doing, and you know that they're working really well is when America is going in the wrong direction. That is their barometer. Because if they get their stuff right, most of Americans should be suffering. Because that's how leftism is like a medic. It's what, moms give you to throw up the poison. That's how you know it works, is when you're throwing up. That's what leftism does to you. But if I were Joe Biden, speaking of that, and I heard that 71% thinks America's going in the wrong direction, I would poop my pants. Or I think the past tense would be poped.
Poped.
Hilarious. Now, all that being said, what sense should we make of all this? What should we do about the environment? Well, first, very quickly, make sure to click on the link below and register for our upcoming Patriot Live virtual event, November 12th and 13th, where I and several guests will show you how to lead your family to freedom without sacrificing your beliefs, values, and God-given rights. If you click on the link below right now, you're going to get 40% off your tickets, but that offer expires this week, so do not wait. Click on that link below to find out more and get 40% off your tickets now, and I'll see you for a virtual weekend you'll never forget. All right, gang, I found the work of the Danish statistician Bjorn Lomborg to be very insightful in all of this. Lomborg has pointed out that even if we did everything that the Paris Accord requires of us, every single nation, every single thing required, all of that effort would amount to reduction in temperature by the end of the century to no more than about 0.5 degrees Celsius. I mean, think about that. Even if we took all the measures, spent the trillions upon trillions, I believe it's $100 trillion that the Paris Accord requires of us, the total temperature reduction by the end of the century would be little more than 0.5 degrees Celsius. That's about 0.8 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, it's beyond absurd. In fact, what I really like about Bjorn Lomborg's research is he takes the very same data that the environmentalist radicals constantly appeal to and shows a whole other way of interpreting the data. So, for example, he notes that rises in temperature that global warming activists are so apocalyptic about. He actually notes that warming temperatures could actually save more than 1.3 million lives every year. And that's, of course, far more people die because of coal-related deaths than they would heat-related deaths. So we could certainly address the environment in a far more realistic way, but without all the apocalyptic hysteria that we keep seeing coming from the likes of radical left-wing activists like Greta Thunberg and Sleepy Joe, right when he's awake, that is. The absurd hypocrisy to all of this can be seen from the fact that 20 years after the Kyoto Treaty was signed by all these countries, emissions have actually gone up. And of course, it's because this is all a big show. It's a big show by a bunch of really bad and cheap actors. Instead, Lomborg suggests that rather than showboat these ridiculous apocalyptic speeches, the UN should instead encourage research into green energy. And that's the key here. Research. Don't mandate the use of green energy because we're blatantly not there yet. The technology is nowhere near the level of replacing fossil fuels. Instead, put the research in. And when all is said and done, when a green energy is found that is cheaper and more effective than fossil fuels, problem solved. Everyone would switch to it in a heartbeat. No need for mandates, no need for emissions goals that are all thwarted in the end anyway. China would switch, India would switch. The single most effective long-term climate policy is in investing in a lot more resources in green research and development. But of course, that doesn't make for cataclysmic and apocalyptic rhetoric that the Marxist media can then exploit to further the leftist revolution. But it does make for a much smarter and brighter future. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video on the funniest woke fails ever. It's going to absolutely make your day, so make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.